What is important about a car like this is that this car has not been touched. This car here is a Delage D8. I find the subtle proportion and lines of this car absolutely fantastic.
We bumped into Peter Larson here, and I have huge respect for Peter. He's one of the world's authorities on French coach work. He's a Pebble Beach judge. He judges many concours events. He's a legitimate expert.
It was built in France in the early 30s, and I love French cars. I love the proportions of French cars. When I approach a car, I always sort of pause about 10 feet away from it to get an overall impression of the balance of the car, the balance of the restoration. Does it present in a well-balanced manner? Note how it has hardly any ornamentation along the sides and how smooth the various parts of the body flow into one another. This, to me, is an incredible design. Of course, the windshield is about 6 inches tall, so if you couldn't see out of the windshield, hey, that didn't matter. It looked good, and that was the point.
This is such a hot rod from its period. It even looks like the roof has been chopped.
50s hot rodders may very well have seen pictures of these cars because the proportions really are rather wild, and they wanted to copy that.
Knowing Peter is great because I can ask him what Pebble Beach judges are looking for, which helps me when I'm preparing a car. You know, he gave me a couple of tips, Dave.
But every car starts with 100 points.
Yeah.
And then you deduct from there. The hood ornament was actually made in the 1930s, but they were actually quite rare in the 30s. And I would try and find out whether it had that hood ornament. And that would, if it didn't, that would be a deduction. I do the best I can to evaluate a car objectively for what it is, its originality and its authenticity, which means what was this car when it rolled out of the factory in 1930 or 1960 or 1923. I look for over-restoration, over-chroming, fancy paint jobs that the car would never have had when it was delivered, modifications that the car should not have. This is a Maserati Shamal. This car was designed by Marcello Gandini, who designed the Lamborghini Countach. It's a bi-turbo. It weighs 1,400 kilos. It's got 327 horsepower. It was built by Alessandro De Tomaso, who owned Maserati at the time. It has no ABS. It has no traction control.
It's a real car.
Because De Tomaso didn't believe in those things.
Yeah.
So this is a car, when you drive it, you pay attention.
You know, Peter's dragged me over to this Maserati, and honestly, I know nothing about this car, and it could be the very first time I've ever seen it. If I saw one before, I didn't pay any attention. And within 2 minutes, he's turned me into a fan.
What is important about a car like this is that this car has not been touched. This car is in its original paint, original carpet, original leather, original everything. The only thing I, as a judge, can find on the car is that it does not have its original exhaust. So when you buy it, understand that you are the car's custodian.
That's right.
And leave it alone.
Yeah.
Maintain it, take care of it, treat it nicely, and it will treat you nicely. Don't start repainting it, and if you put other wheels on it, keep the old ones so that they can go with the car. Because right now, with the 30s cars, for example, those that have managed to survive in their original paint, they are prized. It's astonishing sometimes how much money people can spend decreasing the value of a car.
The car, yeah. This one is at like 125,000 plus. I mean, do you think that that's a fair price for this car?
They built 369. It's very rare.
Yeah. I will never run out of cars to restore, but, you know, I would like people to sort of go, you know, this is really nice the way it is. Let's keep it this way. Oh.